It's a Dipshit Files here on SKATCAST. It's episode 34, and this is our Thanksgiving episode. I'm Mr. Scriptkeeper.
And I'm Mrs. Scriptkeeper.
And today we're basically talking about the terrible things that are done to turkeys. From what I understand from this script, it is basically what a terrible thing we've done. For whatever thankfulness we have, or for whatever things are going on for this day and time, turkeys are taking the brunt of it.
Yes, they are.
And we have some strange rituals that we're going to talk to you about here on the Dipshit Files.
Dipshit Files.
Somewhere in the U.S. every year, someone's Uncle Max falls asleep sitting at the table with an unlit, gravy-soaked cigarette in his mouth.
Yep.
And even if your uncles all typically manage to maintain consciousness during the Thanksgiving feast, it's fair to assume most of us adhere to peculiar Turkey Day rituals of our own.
I have my own psychotic ritual where, like, before I do anything to the turkey, I'm like, I'm going to shove my fist up your fucking, and then I'm going to baste you, and then I do. And then it's weird. I think I take it too far.
It's always interesting to take a look at the rest of our great nation, where absurdity in the realm of Thanksgiving customs runs rampant.
USA, USA. Let's desecrate the body of a turkey.
Know that whatever strange turkey dance you perform with your Grandpa Mike while the turkey cooks is not the strangest ceremony out there. Here are some of the absolute weirdest Thanksgiving traditions that I could find maintained all across the U.S.
All about fucking being sweeties to turkeys.
Okay, that was the weirdest thing. There's all kinds of weird shit that I dug up when I was doing my script. Most of it has to do with the absurd things that we do to this poor animal.
Yeah, no other animal gets shit just shoved in its ass and displayed.
Oh, just wait. Just wait till you hear some of the shit that we do. And then some of the things that we do to food. I mean... I even cover some interesting recipes that I'm
oh
boy.
I mean, if we're even talking about yams, it's on. But I just want to say, I mean, if you think about it, this is very cliche to say that aliens don't come here for X reason and stuff. But the way that Earthlings treat other Earthlings, us being the human Earthlings treating the turkey in particular has a case to where it's like to the aliens, and they're like, seriously?
They're like, they do what?
I mean, the cow's got a case because they'll kill the cow and they'll put its milk on it.
They shove what in
then,
where?
Yeah, but all right.
The turkey's got, definitely got a case.
It's got probably one of the best cases.
All right, so we're going to start with pardoning the turkey.
Right.
Okay, so in 1947, the Truman administration established an utterly useless tradition known as the National Thanksgiving Turkey Presentation.
Well, it really kind of rubs it in further.
Right.
Where it's like, we're literally raising and breeding millions upon millions of turkeys to do terrible things to them, and a few of you are going to be let go.
Right.
I told you, Rufus, if you just hung in there, buddy.
All my friends are dead.
Yeah, but you were the chosen turkey, just like we planned.
You killed my family.
Yeah, but you're free to live out your life.
You shoved bread and diced carrots up my wife's ass.
Yeah, but you're pardoned.
I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Oh, shit. Happy Thanksgiving, Rufus.
Well, this tradition lives on. Each year at Thanksgiving, the leader of our world, the U.S., is required to drag some helpless turkey into a public space and offer the poor creature a presidential pardon.
Yeah.
It's basically a formal declaration to the turkey that says, I will not be eating you for dinner this year, my friend. George H.W. Bush made the whole turkey pardon stick as a national tradition in 1988.
He could have been pardoning a whole bunch of marijuana users that were in federal prison.
Yeah, but it's the turkey, and I don't know, it just seems so strange to me.
Well, it's offensive to poultry everywhere.
I mean, this whole thing seems weird.
Yeah.
This year, for Thanksgiving, we're having Chinese food.
Yes.
We're totally bypassing the turkey.
Right. Also, the chickens, at least we're not shoving things up the chicken's ass.
No.
So, yeah, but chickens also get, I mean, boy.
Yeah,
our planet is just thirsting for the flesh of its fellow Earthlings.
I have a chicken story that we could tell at the very end of this.
Oh, boy, that doesn't belong here, but let's do it. Inside shit.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Let's do it.
Yep. Editor's note, they forget to do it, just so you know.
All right, so the next thing, frozen turkey bowling. I don't know if you've ever heard of this.
No.
I had never heard of it either.
It would be a shitty way to bowl. I mean, how accurate is a chicken? Or I mean, a turkey.
Well, frozen turkey bowling,
carcass.
I guess, is exactly what it sounds like. And it's hilarious to watch. I found it on YouTube, and I was giggling my way through it. So in place of balls and pins, people roll frozen turkeys towards rows of bottled soft drinks.
Headless carcasses.
Yes, frozen animals.
I love it. Humans are great, aren't we? We play with our food like cats or something.
I know, we're weird.
We are weird.
So invented in 1988, the pseudo sport, I guess, is best played down the aisle of the frozen section at a local grocery store.
Nice. That's nice, clean.
It can, of course, take place elsewhere, as supermarket employees do not tend to enjoy this. But I guess that's where frozen turkey bowling happens.
Right. SKATCAST probably would never do such a thing. And we certainly don't want to see any videos of anybody trying that.
Really fucking weird. Okay, the next one. The turkey.
That'd be funny, though.
The turkey toss.
Turkey toss. Here we go again, turkey. We're like at least 1 for 1.
Well, okay,
Two's
so
2 for 2.
this is it seems like it's a real actual thing. This is all over the place. So if you thought you're supposed to flip turkeys like pizza dough, you'd been led astray. By all the same, every year there are people who congregate to test how far and high they can sling frozen turkeys.
Okay.
Again, these poor carcasses.
And also, I mean, we should all look at that and be like, okay, well, we did it. We did it. We're a very rich country. We are taking food and we are fucking wasting it thoroughly.
Right. Well, that's just it. If you think this
Good
sounds
job.
like a waste of turkey, you're totally correct. Sometimes when these things hit, it's, well,
Explode.
they exactly.
Yeah.
These sorts of contests are particularly popular in Indianapolis, Indiana, where I guess
Way to go, guys.
I guess the locals like to light their poultry on fire before competing.
3 years ago, you marinated the turkey in gasoline.
Yep.
2 years ago, it was the turducken.
Yep.
Last year, you just punched all of us in the face with your fist in the turkey.
Yeah, that didn't go over very good.
So, Hank, you can imagine my hesitancy in asking what you got for us this year.
Man, we're going to toss turkeys
We're going to toss them.
on fire.
I'll get the hose. I mean, I bet it's cool. But
High risk, super low reward.
Yeah. What,
Flaming-
this is going on today, or is this
flaming
stuff
turkeys.
just from, reported, it's happened in the past?
No, it looks like it's going on
This is a
today.
tradition.
These are.
I don't want to judge people based on their
No.
traditions and shit, but, those animals died just for being thrown in the air. And
I know.
It's a kick in the dick of, conservationists. Here's what I imagine PETA headquarters sounds like when they hear that shit.
That's a turkey tossing.
Oh, wow. Did you hear that, Malachi? They do turkey tossing.
Malachi, are you okay?
Malachi. Turkey tossing. Malachi. Malachi.
Well, I have a feeling this
All those
year,
folk.
very few people are going to be lighting these turkeys on fire. I mean, the last time I looked,
That's probably
it was
the
like.
fun of it, though.
But no, seriously, I think turkeys were like. The last time I looked, they were
expensive as fuck.
fucking expensive.
It's about time the turkeys got some protection. If inflation did anything, it's protecting turkeys from us
Protecting
and
the
our
turkeys.
fucking reindeer games.
Okay, so the next one is called the Thanksgiving Day Smash.
Okay.
So
Is this about fucking turkeys?
it
again?
is.
Oh my
They're
goodness.
all about turkeys.
Dude.
So the team over, well, kind of. So
Okay.
this doesn't talk about smashing turkeys.
How many turkeys are actually eaten, and how many are just done in some weird sport that bored ass people invented?
I do not know.
How dare us?
So the team over at the Santa Barbara Zoo likes to get the animals in on the whole Thanksgiving thing with a tradition they call the Thanksgiving Day Smash.
Where they basically take a turkey and they feed it to all the other animals.
No.
So the other animals can mock turkeys too.
Where they actually invite locals to hit up the zoo on Thanksgiving Day and they watch the animals interact with pumpkins.
Okay.
And they call it smash because sometimes they will toss the pumpkins in and they explode. And then the animals eat and play with the pumpkins.
Okay.
I'm not sure why this is fun, but apparently it is.
Oh, it certainly sounds like it could be.
It's probably a lot more fun than launching flaming turkeys through the air.
Oh, you don't. What? No.
I don't know.
I mean, flaming anything in the air. Launching them? If you're launching stuff, it's like, well, that's fucking what we do. We like to launch things.
Okay, so this next one, really doesn't have a lot to do with turkeys except for the appearance. So it's called the turkey trot.
Okay.
I know you've heard of the turkey trot.
Oh, they're dressing them up in weird outfits, and they've got guns to their heads, and they're like, trot, motherfucker!
Right. Well, it comes as no surprise that a lot of families are eager to do some jogging after inhaling the biggest meal of the year.
I've never once felt like jogging.
Me
after-
neither. I
after
like to fall
Thanksgiving.
asleep. But, I when the kids were younger, I liked going for walks because it kind of made me feel a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. If you were still awake.
But
You were, because you were busy cleaning up everything.
Well, you'll
Yeah.
find a 3-mile turkey trot all across the country. I mean, they're kind of held everywhere. But beyond the actual event, It's become something of a major tradition for participants to dress in turkey costumes while they run.
See, we're mocking the turkey as well.
Exactly. It's certainly worth noting that there are hundreds of thousands of American people with full turkey suits lying around.
The turkey. Yeah.
They're just lying around for the turkey trot on Thanksgiving.
That's so awesome. It's like we have a storage space mainly for the turkey costume.
This is my turkey trot costume. Yep.
I love people.
My turkey trot uniform.
We're the best thing and the worst thing about the world.
So the next thing is pie eating contests. So I'm not sure why.
That sounds good as long as it's not like we slaughtered. It only can have a pie as long as we've slaughtered a turkey and it's turkey pie.
Right. Okay. So this is one of those things that you and I just don't see eye to eye on.
Yeah. Fuck pie.
I wasn't talking about pie. I was talking about eating contests.
Oh, fuck.
You love watching eating contests.
I don't know if I love it. I'm not like jerking off to it, but
I never said that they made you.
Wow, I went far with that. I don't know.
You
why.
really did.
I threw down.
I'm
on
just
you
saying.
Today. Happy Thanksgiving, wife.
All I know is for many months, if I walked out into the living room and you were watching something, it was what's his face. What's his name?
Oh, the greatest athlete in the universe, Randy Santel.
Randy Santel eating some burger.
Angus's favorite athlete.
And Angus actually picked up on that too.
He's a food athlete. I'm not mocking him either.
A food athlete.
I think Randy Santel's a badass, and I think he's doing an experiment with his body that is unprecedented, and we should support his.
We've had this conversation.
Goddamn. Yeah, I don't know what it is about that. I actually like watching. Just the food, the concoctions of food that people will make, and then the quantities. It's like that's unbelievable. It's like if you leave this country for a day, if you go visit any other country, it's like we don't understand what's wrong. What you guys are doing in America? Like here's a large.
What is wrong with you?
Here's a large cola, and nobody's complained, and it's like a small to Americans, and we're like, if we got a large cola and it was the normal size of a European cola, or even in fucking Canada, just a few miles north, they're like, that is a lot of cola you guys consume, and it's like. Yeah, I guess so. There's just something about it. Watching it, it's almost and the people that are like, I trained myself to gorge on this is such it's like living in Rome. You know, you got the front seat to the Roman stuff. And I don't want to mock Randy Santel because he's a nice dude and he's like a legend in that community. And I'm not mocking him. Fucking A. If I had money at the time, I would have given him some.
Well, I know you're not mocking him.
But it does kind of sound like it because it's weird.
All I'm saying is I can't get past mouth noises. That's my whole.
He puts music on it,
the sound of somebody eating. I can't even listen to myself eat.
Misophonia.
I have to actually have noise on in the background when I'm eating because I can't handle the sound of myself eating.
Right. Well, by the way,
let
for
alone
those of
somebody
you,
else.
those of you who know who Randy Santel is, he doesn't do mouth noises, but we could talk about that some other time.
No, I have heard him talking at the end where he's making mouth noises.
Oh, well, okay, fine. We can't all have nice microphones and a technique with the microphone. I don't know. But he's eating food. He was full. He's got shit dripping. All right.
I know.
But I just want to say, fans of Randy Santel.
I'm not blaming him.
I'm a bigger fan of Raina because she's a dominant factor and she's a little person. And she's amongst these monster dudes and she just mouths that shit to where they're like, she cheats. We don't even know how she wins. She cheats. Some of the restaurants are like, no. And that blows my mind. That's interesting. But again, it's like the Romans were there. Feed me some grapes, more grapes.
Okay, so back to
what the fuck am I talking about?
I don't really know, but I know that we're going back to what I wrote.
Turkey deaths. Sorry.
Well, even though I got your perspective on it.
I went off on a tangent.
But I'm not really sure why mass eating contests exist at all. But apparently people love to shove things like hot dogs and pie slices down their throats at alarming rates to earn some form of clout that doesn't really sound like clout to me. It actually sounds like stomach ache. Yeah. But either way,
imagine the heartburn and shit these guys and gals get.
Well, I know when I overeat, I feel like there's a giant brick in my gut, and I'm just like, ugh.
Well.
So either way, around Thanksgiving, local communities all over the country gather for pumpkin pie eating contests where participants gobble pies without the use of their hands.
Have you ever been to one?
No.
I haven't either. I'm curious if those actually exist or if they're just some figment of the liberal propaganda machine.
There's videos all over YouTube.
Okay, I don't know.
There really are.
Fake news, wife.
I don't know. It seems to me it's a great way to contract a taste aversion to pumpkin pie until next year's eating contest in Thanksgiving.
I would rather chew off my elbow fat than eat a pumpkin pie anytime during this time. I would. Anytime.
What?
I don't want pumpkin pie ever, but it's like, the football's happened. You saw the Detroits and
you don't
the
like pumpkin
Dallases.
pie?
I do, but not at any other time except for the one day we were supposed to. The 2 days that we're supposed to eat it, it's like, fine. Do you have Miracle Whip or Cool Whip? If there's Cool Whip, I'm down with that
Miracle Whip.
I know that threw it off a bit. But the Cool
sounds like
Whip,
another thing that we're going to cover down here. Gross.
Okay.
Gross.
If it has to do with shoving it up a turkey's orifice in some way, I'm against it.
Well, speaking of...
But I just like Cool Whip with a touch of pumpkin pie.
The next thing we're going to talk about is stuffing the turkey.
I'm serious, man. That's what I heard.
Oh, shut up, Turkey Bill. That's just some dumb myth.
No, they're fattening us up to eat us.
Dumb.
No, dude, and it's worse. They're going to shove vegetables up our ass.
You hear yourself?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
I don't appreciate the misinformation.
Why... let's just talk about this for a minute.
Glorious.
Why do we stuff that giant bird we're told is standard Thanksgiving fare? Why do we do that?
Where'd that tradition come from? We're like, you know what? Fuck this bird. I'm shoving this other food up its fucking little cloacus ass.
Well, evidently, the art of stuffing, or dressing, if you prefer, can roughly be traced back to the Romans, though it's not really known how or why the method was adopted for Turkey Day.
Because they're like, more food. Can you give me... They're like, sir, we can't do any more unless we start shoving other food into food. He's like, find me the animal that can fit the most things in its butt.
Just any old animal?
Oh, the tasty animal.
Yes, my lord.
Okay, so...
Sorry.
Okay, my question is, did the Pilgrims have stuffing?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think they were like, man, we suck at farming. We should figure this shit out better.
Well,
we need to each have our own plot of land.
There are a few things that we have learned about it, though. So stuffing your holiday protein could increase your chances of getting salmonella poisoning, as bread is porous, and when not cooked properly, meat juices filled with bacteria could be absorbed by the bread and become very much alive when consumed.
Ew.
Just throwing that out there.
Frankenstein's
Make
monster
sure
food.
it's cooked thoroughly. Granted, the USDA recommends cooking it outside of the turkey.
I know how to avoid
that.
I know how to avoid all of this stuff with stuffing. When somebody says, "Would you like some stuffing?" You're like, "No, absolutely not." I trust it like I trust zero things. Like I trust a toilet paper roll at the fucking gas station bathroom.
Yeah.
That's what I trust over your food. Sorry. Even when it's wet, the wet toilet paper or the thing. I'm like, I trust that more than I trust stuffing.
Oh, gross.
Especially after what you just taught us.
Okay, so we're moving on to...
My mom was a terrible cook.
I know.
How come I'm sick all the time, Doc?
I rarely say this, but it's because your mom's a terrible cook.
What?
If she was a restaurant, the health department would put her in a guillotine.
Is this about my mom's famous chicken sushi pizza?
Yes, it's about the raw chicken pizza.
Oh, God.
Make cookies.
Well,
all right,
okay,
though.
so we're moving on to the next tradition.
All
So
right.
Black Friday.
Punch a guy in the face over a TV day.
So it only makes sense that we unofficially dedicate a day to shopping as well, right? So why not make it the day after Thanksgiving and call it Black Friday?
The day after we abuse the fuck
Exactly.
out of turkeys.
And then see how far we can mentally and physically push thousands and thousands of retail workers.
Right.
It's 3 minutes to 5.
Oh, you should have seen him 5 years ago. My cousin was ripped apart and eaten alive at a Target.
I don't want this job.
You get used to it. Remember to smile. Welcome to Star Mart. Say it after me. Welcome to Star Mart.
I don't need this.
Associates ready?
wanna go home.
And remember, everyone that survives today, we're getting a pizza party.
So I found a handful of the craziest Black Friday stories for you, but we'll cover that in just a moment.
Okay.
So there's some crazy shit in there.
I've been wondering, like, I'd love to see a compilation of, like, this is the craziest shit that we've ever seen as retail workers. But
I traveled down a rabbit hole on YouTube looking at these videos. And there's some really terrible... I couldn't even joke about some of this shit. It was,
it's like live leak from the early aughts. Where you're like,
terrible.
whoa. Or 2010 or 12.
Right. Some of this stuff is it's silly and funny and really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing, Thanksgiving Day Parade. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is a staple in this country.
And they used to just have thousands of turkeys out there, and they'd kill them all at the end, because fuck turkeys.
But why?
I don't know why.
Why is the parade so popular? I mean, I don't want to sound like like I'm down on all this stuff, because I'm not.
Well, right. Well, okay. How about this? We grew up with, you and I grew up with 4 channels. And then 5 or 6, we got some HBOs and CNNs and all that shit, and we got cable. In our lifetime, we watched all that shit happen. Our parents were like, we have 2-3 channels. It's boring. I don't want to watch all this shit. So they went outside. And they did stuff outside.
Okay.
And they got creative, and they were like, fucking, we should put things like that are on the TV, but out on the street in the 3D. And then that was their 3D TV. And I win. That's the answer. The first 3D TV were floating things out in the street of like Daffy Duck and shit.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Parades were never my thing.
I know. They're just cold.
They just never really were.
Remember how awkward and weird it was when they would cover it on TV? It was like this.
Welcome to the Macy's Day Parade. I'm Vern Vernington, and I punched my wife. Oh, geez, he's had a lot to drink. I'm Sally Sellington, and I've also had a lot to drink. Let's check out the Peanuts float.
Did you say penis? Here's my penis.
Oh, look, there's Snoopy floating in there, and it looks like he's humping Charlie Brown's face. Okay, I hate this gig.
Here's my penis.
I can't help but think that the biggest parade in the world, which is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City, it's been televised since 1953.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't help but think that it's morphed over the last few decades into the flashiest piece of advertising on the planet.
Oh, yeah. It's like the Super Bowl, but for down dog. And
maybe maybe it always was. I don't know. The first Macy's Day Parade took place in 1924 to celebrate a literal expansion. The new flagship store spanned an entire New York City block, making it, at that time, allegedly the world's largest store.
Wait. It's called the Macy's Day Parade.
Right. Well, the Macy's Day Parade.
They fucking... I never once thought of that until just right now. It's like, it's the Walmart Day Parade.
Right. It's
that would
the
be
Macy's
what we'd be
Day
doing.
Parade. Yeah.
We should start the Walmart Day Parade.
So I thought that was interesting.
Imagine what the Walmart Day Parade would look like on the street.
Oh, my God.
That would be so great. That would be so great.
Well,
oh God.
Okay, so the Macy's Day Parade, I thought that was interesting. It actually started to celebrate the opening of the store.
I'm tickled. Walmart Day Parade. Let's make this shit happen. It would be fucking great. We celebrate the fucking...
Okay, so the intention of this celebration was not to encourage Thanksgiving Day sales, but rather to get people jazzed about Christmas gifts.
Nice. It's all about that dollar, baby. We want that dollar.
Much like Black Friday, we're looking at a showcase for curated sales.
Right.
So this is supposed to be a day of giving thanks, but, here we go.
But it's all, they're giving entertainment.
Okay, so I got two more things.
Thank you for the entertainment.
I got two more traditions.
Okay.
The wishbone.
Okay.
Have you ever pulled...
That's to a turkey's fucking body again?
Pulling its, what... our sternum would be.
Oh, God, it is the sternum, huh?
You're just breaking it apart. So the ritual of breaking the wishbone, which is located between the turkey's neck and breast for luck, actually comes from an ancient civilization located in what is now Italy called the Etruscans.
Oh, wow.
And it was passed on through the ages and eventually making its way to the English colonists who brought it to their new country, America.
Right. All their colonies.
And it was for luck. It was for luck.
Hey, what are you doing to that carcass? Hey, I'm breaking its neck for good luck. I never heard of that before. Oh, you should try it. Break an animal's neck. I'm going to go break an animal's neck. It's for good luck.
Well, that's what it still is, I guess.
Yep, it's still for luck.
I remember my mom
making
doing that
a
every
wish. It was like making a wish. Make a wish. And then you're supposed to hold on to it.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You just get ants. That's how you get ants.
Yeah. Do you want ants? That's how you get ants. Or cockroaches, or depending on where you live.
Vermin. Vermin will come.
All right, so the last tradition. Can you guess what it is?
Turkey beheading, and then you chew on the turkey's head, and you spit the turkey's head as far as you can, and the farthest distance gets to
it wouldn't surprise
have sex
me.
with a turkey.
It wouldn't.
I don't know. It's about turkey depravity at this point.
It wouldn't surprise me. No, it's watching football.
Oh. Well, it's kind of close. I mean, it's certainly not that far off. It's closer than the stuffing and shit. I mean, it's close.
Okay, so watching football is a thing. I get it.
Pigskin, turkey skin, fucking A.
Sports are entwined in America's DNA, and most mainstream matches involve getting people together to cheer on teams. So a living room full of family members will work.
Yeah.
But what? Okay, so my question is, what about those who need help preparing in the kitchen or setting the table?
They are left to their own devices, I think. Yeah.
I remember Thanksgiving was at our house most of the time as the kids were growing up, and I was stuck in the kitchen.
Non-football fans
all
were
the time.
destined to serve football fans? Is
Yes,
that what's happening? That is what happened, huh?
I was a football fan. I was a football fan. I was like trotting between the kitchen and the living room. Every time somebody would start yelling, I would drop what I was doing, sprint to the living room to see the play, and then I'd have to leave and go continue cooking.
That
So
sucks because neither of you like to cook. But I guess you're a good cook, though. And honestly, between the four of you guys, I mean, you're the only one that could be trusted with fire. And so that's why. Like, if there's a cook in the family, it's like, well, can you feed all the dumbasses that come over here? It's
see,
like, well, you're the cook. So male or female, whoever's a good cook should be the cook on Thanksgiving.
that's why they came to our house.
Right.
Because I cooked well.
Yeah, you do
and
good
everyone,
turkey.
Everyone loved the food.
So you screwed yourself by being talented at something that you didn't even like. And you're like, I like football more than this shit.
And I didn't even like turkey.
Right. That sucks.
So, but anyways.
Think about all the professional chefs that have a menu card that they're making or some shit, and they're like, I hate all this food so much, but I'm so good at making it. So good. They come to you and they're like, this halibut was great. They're like, I have no idea how you eat that shit.
I actually made salmon one year. Of course, I had to do turkey.
For Thanksgiving?
Uh-huh.
And salmon and?
I made a turkey like normal.
Uh-huh.
And then I grilled salmon.
How popular was that?
Well, actually, I didn't get hardly any of it. It was very popular.
It was gone, yeah.
But everyone was like, why are we doing salmon?
Oh, why humans? Humans
I don't
just
know.
goddamn do.
I don't know.
They're like, we must torture only turkeys this day.
So
that's why there's a tea in it.
And
it's a Thursday tea.
And
Thanksgiving tea. Turkey's death. Murder.
Evidently also torture the cook that's in the kitchen who likes to watch football.
That's not very nice.
Okay, so since we're actually on the topic of kitchen and cooking and all of that, I did some digging, and I came up with some really weird recipes and side dishes. Some of them I've seen and heard of.
Okay.
Some of them I have not. So weird.
I've got my hackles up. Is that what they're called? Hackles.
Weird,
I've got hackles up.
weird side dishes. Not all families, but a decent chunk of Americans.
I already have indigestion thinking about what's coming.
They encounter off-the-wall chaotic
Spit it out. What is it?
Chaotic side dishes each year, courtesy of your second cousin who knows deep down they really can't cook, but they just wanted to be nice and show up with something homemade on Thanksgiving. So they bring these weird fucking dishes. As such, we get dishes like the ones that we're going to talk about now. We're talking about seafoam salad.
Nope, don't like.
Okay, we're just going to move on to these experimental weirdness.
All right.
So there's a misconception about Thanksgiving food in the U.S.
That it's good. It's terrible.
Well, for some, it's
terrible.
Roast turkey and trimmings. But for others, it seems like anything goes. And I'm finding that...
I'm thankful for that.
I kind of wonder where these recipes come up with. As a result, there's
crazy
some
people.
seriously weird recipes out there. I mean, who wants a plain old turkey when you can cover one with vodka? Or roast it with anchovies.
No.
Right.
I mean, the vodka over the anchovies.
Who's missing roasted potatoes when you got sides like frog's eye salad?
No.
Okay.
Frog's eyes.
Hi, Mom. What's for dinner?
Frog's eyes.
Okay.
So here's 10. I got 10 here. 10 bizarre dishes.
Don't hold her to it, though.
They're actually considered tradition all over the U.S. Okay.
It's a busy ass place here in the SKATCAST studio, so don't hold her to 10.
Sweet potato and marshmallow
balls.
Bake.
Get fucked. That's yams.
Okay.
That's basically yams or squash.
Right.
Those are the family of yams and squash. Those don't belong in any kind of mouth.
Okay, so they're
not even the pigs like that.
There are
shit.
literally hundreds of sides that can make it onto the Thanksgiving table. One of the more prevalent is a sweet potato and marshmallow bake. Okay.
My mom did shit like that. No.
Yeah, so I know
Sweet
it's
potato.
gross. I think we all know what it is. It's sugar plus sugar baked into caramelized sugar.
It's guaranteed nightmares when you go to bed after eating it. It's guaranteed you're going to have the booger man up your ass.
I've choked down my share of this side dish over the years at family gatherings.
I'm sorry, me too. Only a couple times.
But I've never
I fitted out.
I've never had it mashed. They always had chunks. Okay, so this is mashed sweet potato paste covered in syrup and marshmallows.
Are you trying to make me throw up on air? Is that the?
I'm sure.
Where's my sound effect?
All I'm saying. All I'm saying is I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that love this dish. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah, and I'm not judging you except
really-
for your taste buds. They're
Well-
terrible. So now you're suspect with your political values as well.
Okay.
It's just the way I am. I'm just like that. I'm sorry.
All right. So
Suspect. I didn't say wrong. I'm just
the
saying suspect.
next one, frog eye salad.
Okay. If you like this one, I mean, what does that mean about you and how you'll vote?
So could you imagine being at the table and be like, could you pass a frog eye salad?
No.
Can I have the frog eyes, please?
It sounds like something that would be for Halloween. Where
Right.
it's like the Eye of Newt.
Okay, so
it's a witchy thing.
It's not very it doesn't sound appetizing to me.
No.
But you know what's less appetizing? Finding out what's in it. Okay, so
It's not just the eyes, huh?
it's a combination of pasta,
Oh, that ruins pasta.
fruit,
Okay.
coconut,
Oh my God.
marshmallows,
I hate whoever made this. They vote for tyrants every time.
and cream. Okay, it's a dish
Ruin
that
all the things.
the dish couldn't quite decide whether it wanted to be sweet or savory.
And it's no eyes of frogs.
So I'm thinking,
Is that what you're saying?
no eyes of frogs. No, it's the pasta that they use.
So they name it that just to be cunts.
I don't know. I
and
think
then they put disgusting things in it, knowing
personally, I think you should just serve a cheese board.
coconut and and pasta.
Right. And coconut, fruit, marshmallows, cream, and pasta. Gross. Okay.
Somebody thinks that sounds good, and I that's probably not as bad.
Okay, so
I'd
my-
rather have frog eyes though.
My grandmother makes this next one. Grandma, along with the candied yams and weird shit that we talked about, the sweet potato bake. Okay, ambrosia salad.
Ambrosia.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Okay, it does,
That's the
doesn't
food
it?
of the gods.
So to make an ambrosia salad, you simply have to combine different canned fruit and mini marshmallows, okay?
Okay.
Sounds good, right?
It's a food of the gods.
Right. But it turns into an abomination so fucking quickly. I swear. Okay, so you have to stir in either mayonnaise or sour cream into the fruit and marshmallow mixture. My
Right.
grandma used Miracle Whip. Sometimes
That's why you don't like Miracle Whip, I guess.
Well, sometimes whipped cream and jelly can also be mixed with mayonnaise and put in there.
The mayonnaise does throw it off. I'm sure that it's counterintuitive. I'm sure it's off-put by some sugary things, and it's like, no, you have to do that for the consistency. But fuck all that shit.
Okay.
My mom made that too. She made all the terrible things.
Yeah. Okay,
It's like
tell
she
me
was
if she
taught
made
by-
this next one.
All right.
I want to know if
Okay.
she made this next one.
But I think the Depression era people taught my mom how to cook, and she's like, "We eat dirt here. This is fancied up dirt. It's the shit you get in the store.
These
dirt."
are leaves. Okay, so Jello salad.
Okay.
All right, so
Yeah,
to me,
oh man, so many
to me,
versions.
Jello salad is like Jello smashed into a bowl with some grapes and pineapple. Is what I thought. Because that's the Jello salad that I've had.
Okay.
Basically, when it comes to Jello salad, I guess anything goes.
Fuck, dude.
And I mean, fucking everything. So as well as fruit and the sweet things, which is what I've had.
They'll throw raisins and carrots in that shit too.
You might also find mixed with ingredients like beef, hard-boiled eggs, ham, veggies, and fish. Right? Okay, so sometimes the Jello is meat and fish flavored as well. And
That's serial killer shit.
It's called aspic.
aspic.
So they make Jello.
That's a terrible
They
word.
take gelatin.
That's a terrible food.
Like
and a terrible,
Sure-Gel.
Never be popular. Any of those things.
It's the Jello that the clear Jello, but there's no flavor to it.
Yeah.
And they cook it with like meat.
The most disgusting consistency things.
Okay, so aspic.
They decide to mix with Jello, which is also like, if it didn't taste like cherry, you wouldn't put that in your mouth.
It
But it's
tastes
that's
like
good cherry.
beef bouillon. So aspic, it's a flavored clear jelly prepared from liquid stock made by simmering the bones of beef, veal, chicken, or fish.
I'm telling my brain to purge this part of that's remembering all this stuff. Like, get that out. I don't want any of that in there. Get it out.
The aspic congeals
Ruined.
when refrigerated by virtue of the natural gelatin that dissolves into the stock from the tendons.
So meat popsicles.
You can also do exactly. You could do powdered gelatin too, which is what I was talking about, the Sure-Gel. But yeah, it needs to be set super stiff. Now, if you look at these pictures, it's clear, brownish or yellow or green gelatin mold. It looks like they poured this into a mold. and then put it in the fridge and refrigerated it, and it hardened. And when they dumped it out, it stacked. The grossest one had carrots and then a layer of peas and then like fish. It was awful. It was absolutely awful. Okay. Jell-O salad.
No likey.
Next one.
Okay.
Strawberry pretzel salad.
That's okay.
Evidently, this one is also very popular.
It's weird
I've never
as fuck.
had it.
I'll only tolerate it during this time of year because it's for that weird aunt that's like, look what I made. I'm not a good cook, but I got it on the internet and I found this.
Right.
Like,
so in the grand scheme
there's
of
4
things,
hairs in here and I haven't even dug into it yet. This is a cat hair for sure, Aunt Linda.
Oh, in the grand scheme of things, a strawberry and pretzel salad is probably not as weird as it sounds.
I mean, compared to what we've discussed, it's fucking.
So it's
goddamn
evidently
Shangri-La.
it has a base layer of crushed pretzel, okay, whipped cream.
My mom made this crap too.
And cream cheese filling.
Yeah, that's the good shit.
And a topping of strawberry jelly, and I guess it's layered like tiramisu.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. If you do it right. My mom's like, here's some slop with some pretzels in it. Bunch of fruit I found at the stall.
Oh, God.
That's where you get the fruit.
Okay, next.
All right.
This one, you're going to fucking love this one.
Okay. I'm
I
one
thought
for
it was
5
I
or
thought it
whatever
was a joke.
Okay.
I thought it was a joke.
No.
No, it's on
Meat
recipe.
popsicles wasn't
it's
a joke either?
No,
Okay.
no, none of these are jokes.
Well,
this is actually in recipes.com. It's called ham and banana casserole.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
Ham
I've seen some ham
and banana casserole.
This is some Elvis shit. I don't know why.
FYI, the casserole is nothing like the Hawaiian pizza that people eat. First of all, okay. Instead, the recipe, which it's existed since the 1970s, it involves
this is Elvis.
A creamy concoction of banana, ham, cream, and cheese that's layered and then baked together.
So they're just like, fuck brunch. We're doing breakfast and dinner together. Dinner. Give me the meats and cheeses of dinner and some fucking orange juice on top.
Evidently,
put some syrup on it.
It's supposed, from what I read, it's supposed to be great cold for breakfast following
cold
Thanksgiving.
Ham and
okay. Anything with anything with corn. Corn, if it's corn, it works.
Oh God, yeah.
So
for
another
yeah.
another inescapable Thanksgiving element is dishes made with corn.
Well, now everything's made of corn.
And
all your cheese sauces and your every sugary thing.
And U.S. households really love to get creative with this one.
Yeah.
From what I've seen,
Right.
There's so many recipes. Corn muffins and breads are the staples, but you might also stumble upon scalloped corn. So my aunt actually made what she called creamed corn.
Okay. Yeah, I've had cream corn.
An aunt on my dad's side.
Is that something that your family doesn't know about? Cream corn's very popular. But this is some weird cream corn, isn't it?
No, I didn't know what I never had cream corn.
Oh.
And it was awful. So essentially, I watched her make it. And it was
there's few vegetables that are good creamed.
Oh, God.
You
So
know?
essentially
Not a lot
what
of them.
she did was she took 3 cans of corn.
Corn might
and
be
she
the best of
dumped-
them.
She dumped the water out and she put them in a blender.
Ugh.
So there was 3 cans of corn in the blender.
Mm-hmm.
She then dumped a cup of white sugar on top of it and pureed it. She then poured it into a bowl, and I guess it was meant to be served as a side. I don't remember
she's done?
She was done. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm a cook then, too. I'm a fucking
God.
Michelin star chef.
So it was supposed to be like served as a side, I think, or basically it's used as a topping for mashed potatoes or your stuffing. Seriously.
Why? You're stuffing. Here, turkey, take this.
So there's also a creamy casserole of sweet corn with crunchy cracker topping. The saltines that you crush and put on top and bake it.
That would be one of those things again where you're like, once a year I'll tolerate this shit, Aunt Linda, you.
This was actually Connie.
And Connie, you.
And Connie made this one. Okay, so.
And Connie.
Yeah, the next is roasted turkey with anchovies.
Fucking.
I know. So
anything with anchovies. seems a little
notoriously
weird.
dry and bland. This is a meat that's made for brining. Turkeys, really. I mean, if you can brine that, which
Pickle
is
that shit. Pickled turkey.
pre-soaking in spice salted water.
You should drown turkeys in it. That's another
brine
nice
my
thing we should do with turkeys.
I don't brine my turkeys, but I do other things. But
there are terrible things to the turkey.
It gives it flavor. But Mississippi-based chef Regina Charbonneau is recommending an alternative.
Oh, boy.
Now, I was looking for weird ways to cook turkey,
Vaseline.
and I've found 2 of these
Let me
really
guess,
weird
Vaseline.
ones. She says cover the
Robitussin.
bird with anchovy fillets before baking it.
Ugh.
So the fish apparently melts and bastes the bird, providing you with a moist turkey.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Yikes and no.
No.
The next one that's really interesting.
Anchovies are not good. That's why I'm like, I don't like the flavor of those. Why would I want my turkey to taste like an anchovy?
They're super salty. They're really salty. 100 proof turkey. This is the other one.
Okay.
There's an alternative if you prefer something a little less fishy. There's the 100 proof turkey calls for a blend of spices mixed with 100 proof vodka that you inject straight into the bird.
I'm open-minded about this one. Open-minded.
I couldn't imagine cooking this. Okay, so I always cooked my turkeys. Rarely were they in the oven. Most of the time they were outside.
Barbecue.
On the grill.
Right.
Because I'd make them outside. But I couldn't imagine doing the 100 proof turkey and cooking it over open flame. I could not imagine. It would just explode.
Imagine what what if you're like, oh, we got Everclear. It's like, all right. And then it's just boom.
I know, right?
Boom.
The turkey goes flying through the window.
Remind me of 4th of
That
July.
reminds me of a movie. What movie is that where the turkey breaks the window? Is it National Lampoon's?
I don't remember.
Where
now.
the dog gets the turkey?
I'm sure.
I think it is.
Oh, actually, the dogs get the turkey in A Christmas Story, where rubbish, blah, blah,
Yeah,
they come in and
you're
they
right,
ramsack
you're right.
the thing.
You're right.
But you're probably
Okay.
right. I remember them eating crunchy ass turkey where it like exploded or something.
Yeah, that's what I
On the
mean.
dinner table.
Yes.
It was like it was so dry. Yeah, okay. Yeah. It was pretty.
Oh, maybe they should have covered it with anchovies.
That might be possibly why that image of that might be partly why I'm like, no turkey this year.
No turkey.
No turkey.
Okay, the last thing that I found that was really weird is cranberry and horseradish sauce.
I feel like I may have seen that in my life at some point.
I've never seen it.
I think I
So
have.
cranberry sauce is typically served with turkey, while horseradish sauce is dolloped on roast beef, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay. Apparently, these 2 ingredients are blended together with sugar and oranges
Magic. I have no idea. That sounds
to put
foreign
on
to me.
pork.
On pork.
On pork.
To dress up some pig, huh?
Cranberries with sugar, horseradish, and oranges to put on pork.
I would eat my own body weight in that compared to the yam sweet potato shit.
Oh God,
and
I
the
don't
meat
like
popsicles.
I don't like cranberries. I don't like cranberries unless they're
Cranberry sauce
whole
is gross,
cranberries that I boil and I drink in a tea form, or I put them in, a spice cider.
Ugh.
That's the only time I really like them.
All of those are awful, except for maybe the pretzel thing a little bit. And
Yeah, the ambrosia salad isn't too bad as long as it's
No, it can be
whipped
good.
cream. If they do it with whipped cream, I can handle it.
it makes sense. It's a sugary
Miracle
thing.
Whip,
Yeah, well,
yikes!
it's hard to make that taste like a dessert thing, but maybe not. I'm not a chef.
I'm not a big.
There's probably some
I don't
guy
know.
that makes eclairs every day for the fucking king, and he's like, "No, you really want to use Miracle Whip? That shit's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sugar that shit up, delicious. Like I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. Tasty things, tasty, yucky.
Okay.
I don't know. Fuck.
Well, we're going to break into Black Friday stories.
Okay.
So that's the next thing. I did some research, and there are so many stories, just like there's so many videos.
Is this the most United Statsian holiday of all time?
I'm thinking, what, Black Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, I know it's done in other places because the Western world and our style of,
Yeah.
having things
I
that we
don't-
really like that are flashy and neat and
I don't know.
cool.
It just seems really strange that we sit around and with our family and we give thanks and we talk about all the things that we're thankful for, and then we go out and have a Black Friday experience. It usually starts.
The irony.
I don't even know when it starts anymore. Black Friday started 3 days ago.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks long now. And it came out of nowhere. It did just kind of
It's
spring
really
on where it's like,
weird.
everybody knows about Black Friday. Don't you know that you're supposed to wait outside right after having a big meal on
Yeah,
Thanksgiving?
it's
like,
so
I just
weird.
remember having a football
Right.
hangover. What are we
I
talking about?
know. It's like you have football hangover, and then I guess at midnight you go to the mall. I don't know.
I don't want to do that ever.
Well, Black Friday is considered the start of the holiday shopping season. But the good cheer that blooms in the holidays can be hard to find amidst the chaotic crowds battling for the best deals on everything from bikes to lobster tails.
The irony is fucking amazing.
Well,
it's truly amazing.
It is really crazy. So here's a few stories of Black Friday shopping gathered from Industry insiders and people who've just witnessed this behavior, outrageous enough to surely land some shoppers on Santa's naughty list.
Santa Claus crime fighter will shoot you with a silencer that shoots peppermint,
All right, so the first one, I've got these numbered. So number 1, these are all direct quotes.
Okay.
I saw an elderly woman steal an ice cream maker out of a man in a wheelchair's electric cart.
Wow.
Okay. Number 2, when I worked at Walmart, we had a fight break out over bikes. Fists were thrown, and there was even some blood. Eventually, one guy got a hold of it and managed to get away from the crowd. He rode the bike out of the store without paying.
I'll mail you a check. I don't want to die.
All right, next. Quote, someone punched a security guard in the face because they thought he was a customer skipping to the front of the line.
Nice.
He was just walking in the door to start his shift.
Nice. That's a testy person right there. They've been through
Bam!
some shit. They're
Could you imagine just throwing blows?
I've been here all night.
All right, next. Quote, I watched a woman collapse in hysterics into my manager's arms because we didn't have the exact model of cooler she wanted.
A cooler. Nice. She's like, this will be divorce if I don't get this cooler. I promise the cooler. This
okay.
is the last straw of my marriage.
Another story. A lady called 911 because we couldn't price match with Best Buy. The police came and arrested her for misusing the emergency service.
Oh, yes. Oh, my. Call the government for that and then get the government's actual help.
Could
You're
you
arrested.
imagine? Okay, so next. When I worked at Sam's Club, we caught a woman stuffing the inside of her pants with frozen lobster tails.
Don't sell that again.
She would unpack them and then throw the trash in the stack of tires that were on display nearby.
Wow. She was
stuffing lobsters in her pants. Okay, next. One of our male customers hit another male customer in the head with a crock pot.
Nice.
Yep. What were they fighting over? The fucking crock pot. Both customers had to be dragged out of the store by the police.
It became about something else after that point when you start using the item.
Here's a direct quote that I just had to throw in there. Quote, they tore down our mall's door. Again. Every year. It's like Shaquille O'Neal and those basketball rims in the late 90s. Oh, my God.
Tearing that shit down.
This one cracked me up. There was a quote, there was a sale. $1 for towels or something. This guy jumped into the towel bin and literally growled at anyone who tried to get a towel. He had claimed them all.
That seems like something like I would do, or an Angus would do.
Could you imagine? He's in the giant. He's in.
I do that whenever I get certain things that I like to eat around the house, when I know someone else wants to eat it. I'm like,
this one is from
deep selfishness.
This story is from a retail person, not from their retail experience, but from when they were a child.
Okay.
Quote, Beanie Babies. They would toss the Beanie Babies from a bin on the table. People were like vultures after these things. I was about 9, and an old lady grabbed a cat right out of my hand. I then stomped on her foot and stole it back.
Wow. Who's the worst one there? The thief or the brute?
Next, quote, people had been lining up for at least 10 hours. Yeah. Why?
Beanie Babies?
Okay. People were lining up for at least 10 hours. We had tons of things on sale, and most people were trying to score deals on fancy electronics.
Yeah, it's always about TVs and...
Except for the first person in line. That person, that person waited all that time
for
to
eggs
buy...
and shit.
To purchase buy one, get one candles.
I just want to participate in this madness. They just
wanted candles.
Let me be part of the madness.
Okay, the next one. I worked one Black Friday at a children's store, and I saw 2 ladies get into a physical fist fight about size 2 jeans. It was the last pair, and they were like $6.
It must not have been made much of a sound. They're tiny little people.
And then this girl said, no, not coincidentally, this was my last retail job.
Yeah.
All right, so next, I worked in customer service at a grocery store and once had a customer return a fully eaten rotisserie chicken, saying they were bringing it back because it was bloody. One look told me and anyone else with eyes that the blood was strawberry jam. My manager still made me issue a refund with a smile because the customer is always right. I hate Black Friday.
Well,
Next one. My first Black Friday, I was working at Walmart. I was assigned to be one of the employees that would cut open the packages that contained our merchandise. As I readied the box cutter, I got shoved by a customer and fell right on it and sliced my hand open.
hey.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Customer.
Yep.
Weird world.
So,
Earthlings.
with all of the funny, silly, weird, kooky bullshit, I thought that I would do a little bit of history on Thanksgiving.
Okay, yeah, teach us about it now.
Yeah,
So you're
so-
saying we have a whole nother segment that's a
Yep.
little bit less
is-
about nasty fucking food. And
It's not about nasty food. It's a little bit about the history,
Okay.
of Thanksgiving and, where it came from. So this segment is meant to give a non-biased account of the events which unfolded in the years leading up to the first Thanksgiving and the several years following the feast, roughly 1614 to 1622.
right.
Let's learn about this crazy-ass American holiday.
I'm going to apologize in advance for any pronunciation errors with the Native American names. I have deep respect for the Native peoples of America, but I'm ignorant on speaking their languages, so my intent is not to offend. To ensure this segment was delivered in bite-sized portions, many details aren't covered in this historical piece, so what I've considered essential information is what I'm sharing, hopefully providing a well-rounded view and understanding of this very interesting event. The events that happened after 1622 could fill several more episodes, so I've tried to give an account of the first Thanksgiving that is as close as we can possibly get to the truth.
Get it.
All right, so the first Thanksgiving. American schools generally teach a conventional story about the meeting of the Pilgrims and the Indians that finished with an amazing dinner. The end.
Right. That's where pie was first discovered.
There's actually more to this tale. In this episode, I'll explain the events around the first Thanksgiving and how it's not the image ingrained in tradition. At the start of the 17th century, southern New England was home to a variety of busy communities within several confederations. These were the people of the First Light, and they called their home the Dawnland. The Wabanaki Confederacy, translated to People of the Dawn or Easterner, is a North American First Nations and Native American confederation of four principal Eastern Algonquin nations. The Micmac, the Maliseet, the Passamaquoddy, and the Penobscot. Now, I know I mispronounced those, but that's
pretty
the
good though
closest
to
I
me.
can get.
That's my ears.
The Western Abenaki are also considered members. Members of the Wabanaki are located in and named for the area which they call Wabanakik or Dawnland, roughly the area that became the French colony of Acadia. It's made up of most of present-day Maine in the United States and New Brunswick, mainland Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island, Prince Edward Island, and some of Quebec south of the St. Lawrence River, Anticosti, and Newfoundland in Canada.
Wow.
So that's that area.
Okay. Big space.
Their political leaders were known as sachems, and they'd been trading with Europeans for over 100 years before the Pilgrims. Relationships began to sour after some shitty Europeans kidnapped locals to sell as slaves. Permanent European settlement was impossible due to the already high population of the native occupants. But in 1616, tradesmen introduced a disease to the Dawnland, whose inhabitants died in droves from lack of immunity. In 3 years, up to 90% were wiped out in several federations, including the Wampanoag. We still don't know what the epidemic of what they call the Great Dying of 1616 to 1619 was, despite numerous theories. So their head sachem, Massasoit, was aware of how close they were to being taken over by their untouched enemy, the Narragansett. He was determined to save his people from such a fate. This was the political world that the Pilgrims were about to enter. The Pilgrims were not called Pilgrims by their peers. They were known as Separatists, a branch of the English Puritans. King James hated Puritans and began persecuting them in 1604. So the Separatists fled to Holland, where they were free to worship as they wished.
They just didn't want to see any women's ankles. They're like, we got to get the fuck out of Europe and England so we can get the fuck away. We want no more ankles in public.
They were afraid of losing their national and communal identity, so the congregation decided to find a new place to plant their church. They decided on America and asked King James for a patent that would grant them rights to build a colony. They planned to make a profit catching fish to pay off the debts to their investors. The Mayflower set sail on September 6th. 2 months later, Cape Cod was spotted and 16 men were sent ashore to inspect the area. Unfortunately, the settlers didn't know how to fish and food was running out, which I
they
thought
all
was
had
kind of,
scurvy.
Well, their plan was to fish to pay back their debts, but none of them knew how to fish. So that was kind of weird.
That must have come up on the boat at some point where they're like, do you know how to fish? Oh, sure.
Shit.
Used to catch the biggest fish.
Right.
Avid fishermen, actually.
They resorted to stealing from graves, homes, and storage pits to keep everyone alive. Then came their first hostile encounter with natives. But, nobody was killed at that time. So they took off. They jumped back on the boat on December 12th. So they had been there 3 months.
And they hadn't found a place to Plymouth Rock it up.
Well, on December 12th, they reached New Plymouth. Oh, they took off on December 12th, and then they reached New Plymouth. They didn't land on any specific rock, by the way. But folklore insists that they did. Right. So there's that.
And there's this really, I got to say, kind of crappy rock.
Is it a crappy? I've never seen it.
It's not impressive.
Well, construction of shelters began in January, but by winter's end, 44 settlers would be dead from bad conditions.
Sheesh.
In March, they were surprised when a man named Samoset walked into New Plymouth, greeting them in English. He told them they were building on top of a village called Patuxet, whose residents had all died from that recent epidemic. So basically, the first settlement was built on Native American burial ground.
Fuck, imagine that conversation.
Oh, here comes one of those dudes from the forest.
Oh, fuck, we should tell someone.
Oh, too late, dude.
Hey there, forest guy.
Whoa, you speak our language?
Yeah, it's a long story. I did want to say, love what you've done with the place.
Oh, thanks.
Well, one thing, you know how they say call before you dig?
Never heard that.
Right, well, you did build your civilization on top of my people's burial ground.
Wait, what?
Oh, burial ground.
There's a 100% chance you have ghosts.
Way to go.
Yeah.
It belonged to the Wampanoag, and their chief, Massasoit, was actually watching them. The settlers were eager to trade, so 5 days later, Samoset returned with furs and companions, including a man named
Tisquantum.
But known famously as Squanto.
Right.
He had come to tell them in perfect English that Massasoit was on his way in. After years of dealing with the Englishmen, the Sachem did not trust these newcomers, so they sent Edward Winslow to be hostage, essentially declaring the settlers' peaceful intentions with human collateral. Satisfied, Massasoit walked into New Plymouth and was greeted by the governor. A peace treaty was created, ensuring mutual protection if attacked by enemies. With the help of Squanto, the lives of New Plymouth settlers began to improve. He taught them how to grow crops and was absolutely vital as an interpreter. To the separatists, he was a godsend. However, Squanto, in fact, had been kidnapped from Patuxet in 1614 and shipped to Spain to be sold into slavery.
Oh, wow.
He ended up in London, right? He ended up in London at the home of a merchant who taught him English and arranged for Squanto's return to the Dawn land in 1619.
Wow.
But Patuxet was now gone, having been wiped out by the epidemic.
So it kind of saved his life? Accidentally.
Yeah, so he did. Yeah, they did. Massasoit took him in with a bit of suspicion because of his years in Europe, but needed a translator to communicate with the newcomers. Massasoit couldn't keep an eye on Squanto every moment, so he eventually sent his warrior, Habamock, to live with the settlers and watch Squanto.
Makes sense.
By fall, the settlers had a great harvest, and a feast was held to celebrate. Massasoit showed up with 90 warriors and 5 deer for the meal. For 3 days, the English and the Wampanoag ate and entertained one another. This was the famous first Thanksgiving that children learn about in school.
Look, my friend, we bring the skill of juggling from Europe.
Right, well, some of you guys know how to farm, right?
You know your women are showing an awful lot of ankle.
However, the word Thanksgiving would not have been used by those settlers to
Right.
denote a harvest feast.
It was like a talent show.
Right?
Like, oh, yeah, I'll check out what we can do.
Yeah,
And some
look
guy
what I-
starts juggling. Yeah, fuck that. And some guy's like, I can fucking hit this bird with a fucking... It's like, damn, dude.
Well, for Puritans, a day of Thanksgiving was a day of fasting while giving thanks to God in prayer. So they would not have called it Thanksgiving. But the story of the Pilgrims and Indians does not end here. During New Plymouth's first year, Squanto had been up to something shady. Realizing his substantial power as the only English speaker of his people, he came up with a plan to overthrow Massasoit. He convinced the locals he could command the English to make war or peace at his will. Habermock, Massasoit's warrior, was suspicious of Squanto and warned Governor Bradford. Soon enough, they discovered Squanto's shady plan and informed Massasoit, who was pissed. He demanded Squanto be handed over for immediate execution. Governor Bradford refused, though. The interpreter was just too valuable to give up. But according to the treaty, Squanto's life belonged in the hands of his sachem, so Bradford finally conceded. Right about the time he was going to hand over Squanto, an unidentified ship appeared on the horizon. This ship caused quite a ruckus amongst the groups, as it was completely unexpected, and delayed the transfer of Squanto. Massasoit and his group were alarmed, irritated, and they were starting to get impatient, so they just left.
Let me guess. It was the Russians. Hello, sorry. What are we doing? No,
Well, by the way, Squanto died in 1622, never admitting any involvement in the plot to overthrow Massasoit. He never admitted to it, but it was alluded to by the people that surrounded him. So this ship that showed up carried 60 Englishmen planning to build a colony near Boston.
I thought that was the Russians. Okay.
They would go on to abuse the Massachusetts locals, eventually spurring a conspiracy to kill the colonists.
Sheesh.
Warned about the plot, New Plymouth's leaders launched a preemptive strike to save their shameless and disrespectful countrymen. It brought peace, but only for a time. In that time, more Puritan settlers arrived, soon outnumbering the natives. And while the Pilgrims' treaty with Massasoit lasted until the sachem's death, other Puritans were not concerned with such alliances. Their fanatic religious principles ensured that peace between the two cultures could never last. To Puritans, Native Americans were other. They were wild, savage, and godless. And with such an ideology, the outcome was inevitable. If they did not convert to Christianity and surrender their cultural identity, they had to be eliminated.
Yikes.
The first Thanksgiving was a brief moment of harmony between two worlds, but sadly it was short-lived.
The calm before the storm.
The opportunities the Dawnland presented, combined with zealous puritanical beliefs, were incentive enough to wipe away the native inhabitants. There's nothing wrong with sharing a feast of thanks with loved ones, but remember the true events that started the holiday and not the fairy tale that
Right.
we are told.
And that's the fucking Thanksgiving for the
Yeah.
United Statsians.
Yep.
All right. Well, here's a music thing, and then we'll be right back with our conclusions.
Happy Thanksgiving from all of us at SKATCAST. Holy fuck, human history is awful.
Fuck people.
Oh, I wonder
We're just crap.
if anybody...
We're great. We're the best part of the world, but we're the worst part of the world.
I wonder if anybody brought ambrosia salad to the first Thanksgiving.
Actually, though, it'd be like, oh, marshmallows.
Yeah,
That's the hit of the ball. Let me
or-
see that thing.
Yeah, sweet potatoes and marshmallows and maple syrup.
Sweet potatoes. God,
Ugh.
that's probably why so many of these things that are disgusting to us sugar fucking fiends in the West are like, no, they called it a sweet potato because nothing else was sweet. Try finding a fruit. That's why they had scurvy. There were no fruit. There
Right.
wasn't even an orange for fucking 1,000 miles.
Right.
So a potato, mint sweetness
A sweet
in some world.
root.
Yeah.
Yep.
Weird.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, thank you for all that shit.
Yeah.
That was
It was a fun. I loved researching this. It was a blast.
It's fun to go hard on the holidays. It's like, I'm not a huge holiday fan. I'm like a workaholic. I'll work right through any damn holiday. My birthday, Christmas.
That's why we
your
get along
birthday.
so well. Yeah.
But, you know, that's
I
stuff.
forget half the time. I'm like, oh, fuck, our anniversary's tomorrow.
It's like, oh, God,
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
terrible.
you. I'm not sure how many
I know.
years I've loved you, but many.
I love you too.
I will continue.
Every year, I have to count.
I know.
I
me
have
too.
to go back because I know when we met and when we married, and I have to actually like count on my hands. how many years we've been married because I can never remember.
I know I'm shit at romance. I should like have like an airplane drawing it up in the sky or some shit. And I'm like, I don't remember.
I'm terrible at romance.
I do. I'm like fucking.
I'm like, high five, love. I love you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
I'm wearing a University of Washington Husky sweatshirt.
I know there was a period of time where I was like, let's go to McDonald's drive-through in our pajamas.
That'd be Arby's sometimes. That's when you really celebrate and you're like, let's go spend $35 on fast food.
Yeah.
Fuck
I don't
all
know.
This $25.
I really enjoyed Taco Bell drive-through when they had those mini quesadillas, the mini cheese chicken quesadillas. I love those.
The mini shredded chicken cheese. Yeah, I remember ordering those.
It was off and it wasn't even on the menu.
Yeah, almost every place that we go, you find something that you like, and like 6 months later, they're like, "Fuck you, lady."
They're like, "We don't have.
We're sick of you here."
But everybody loves the potatoes,
right?
The cheesy Fiesta potatoes, and they're like, "No, we're not doing that anymore."
It must not be profitable or something. They're like, "We can't make this work. We can't. We know you like this.
How can you not make potato chunks profitable?"
I don't know.
I mean, if seriously though,
if it was easy, everyone would do it.
I mean,
I guess everyone.
And it's a tiny little bowl that they sell for I don't even know how much. But it's a tiny. There's like 8 little inch by inch square chunks of potato.
It's mainly
with
just
cheese sauce.
The fried stuff. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
I don't get it.
I don't know. They're trying to figure out how to make potatoes out of corn. And they get closer and closer. They're like, we have subsidized corn to the fullest. We really just need to use corn and everything if we can. So our meat is turning into corn, and the cheese is obviously corn, and the corn.
Ugh.
Yeah. So for Thanksgiving for you, what was the weirdest thing? Did you learn anything new that was like, holy shit? Besides how horrible we are to turkeys, but you knew all that. It's just putting it together.
No, I think it was the meat Jello. I think I saw pictures of that at one time in a book, maybe in a recipe book. I don't know. Better Homes and Gardens, Betty Crocker. I don't know. And I thought it was the weirdest fucking thing. Who would mix the colors of orange, yellow, and green together with gel. It was so
and then put
gross.
It in your mouth. It probably looks better as poop later.
Well, I know. I remember when I was a kid, there was ham.
And that's all they let me eat.
And I was really, really little. And I don't know if it was my parents or maybe it was grandpa. I don't remember. I just remember ham and the gel in the ham, around the ham.
And the adults being like, hey, that's some good gel around that ham.
It was gross. Yeah. It was absolutely disgusting. But I've never liked ham.
So why is it that the holidays, is it just because it's time we get together with our family that we haven't seen for a while?
We have to eat weird food. Why is it the most
disgusting, weird?
I don't know.
Kooky. Is it
because people hold on to tradition really hard? So a lot of people do. They're like, no, this is what we eat.
Right. And a lot of this comes from Europe. This is like old school fucking Europe shit.
Right.
And Europeans, I mean, they've got some places that cook their food pretty good, but overall.
Yeah. Ham Jello, not my thing.
Yeah.
Nope. Just not pasta with pineapple. No, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Europeans are like, oh, potato salad, that's good. Let's put a raisin in that. Yeah.
No, thank you.
Not without a raisin and a carrot. You don't. Not without a raisin and a carrot.
Gross.
So there's that.
Yeah.
But I like that Thanksgiving is in flux all the time. Like, it's a holiday. It's a controversial holiday for a lot of folks and stuff. So it's like this debatable thing where, whenever they founded the actual day, many years after all this stuff happened, and they made the myth version of it for kids to, be proud of America and stuff. It's just not held on very good. They're like, what's the best part of this? Drawing a fucking turkey with your hand.
I was just going to say.
Like,
okay.
You can see who the kids are that are going to go on to be engineers, and you can see the kids that are not.
I was in school.
When they look at their little things.
I remember doing the hand turkeys when I was little, but you know what I really remember? And it struck me as odd, and I was probably 5. It really, and I couldn't figure out why it struck me as odd, but it felt awkward and like, why are we doing this? We made headbands, cardboard or what's that? Construction paper headbands.
Did that too, yeah.
With feathers in them.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yes.
But yeah, with the popsicle sticks to make sure the feather stands up, and it was the weirdest thing.
I remember doing that too. 80s, bro.
Fucking weird. Yeah. 80s? Was it the 80s?
For me.
No, I think no, I was younger than that. It was late 70s.
So it's just been going on. We learned all that from watching you kids.
Weird.
I guess our teachers did.
Weird.
I know. Imagine that shit.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be doing that.
No. And good, and that's pretty weird.
But on the flip side, we did have to make. What else did we make? Oh, we made black top hats for the Puritan top hats with the buckles. Yeah, we did.
We just did the thing where they're like, all right, we need some pilgrims and we need some natives and little pasty white chitrons. You guys are going to be the natives. Respect it. And they're like, I'm a little chitron. I shouldn't be doing this. No, do you guys? Are there any adults here? No, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just looking back looking at the past with the sensibilities of today. Is foolhardy. You can only go back so far. You got to write the deeds of today with today's energies and understanding of the world. But
one thing that I do appreciate about Thanksgiving, now that I've shit on it and we've shit on it over Halloween too, because we were talking about our favorite holidays. One thing I do appreciate about Thanksgiving is a day where it kind of feels like everything stops.
It does.
And so,
we need that here.
Yes.
In this world.
I appreciate that because, the email dings, I'm not answering it. Why? It's Thanksgiving.
Thank you for calling, but no thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Right.
You don't have to do a lot of people don't work. Some people have to work, but a lot of people don't. You get the day off. And most of the time, whether you like it or not, people come together. Sometimes people you don't, which is why you don't see them every day. You don't go out of your way to go visit them. You have a holiday and those people come back into your world and they do weird shit because they're just that way. Like I was saying, Uncle Max with the gravy-soaked cigarette hanging out of his face, weird shit. They talk about things that...
I have a real Uncle Max with a gravy-soaked
I
cigarette.
know.
How dare you?
Well, they talk about strange things and, they might get into arguments.
Oh, yeah. Cousin
Michelle and Cousin Seth.
Right.
They're bickering over stupid things, just like they did when they were kids. And it's kind of I don't know. It's if you can step back from all of that crazy anxiety and actually just take it in
and watch football
and just laugh.
Right.
Don't own it. Don't own the weird conversations or the reactions. It's them, not you.
People watching your family?
Just watch your family.
Fuck.
It's
but your family
interesting.
Your family wants to drag you into whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yep.
They can't stand somebody just pleasantly watching. That's not a thing. I've never, not in my family.
That's why you out of your pocket, you pull the straightism. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yep.
Hey, you want to be part? No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Would you like some pie? Let me see the pie. How many cat hairs are in that, Aunt Linda? Let me see. Let me count the cat hairs in this piece. No, thank you.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but enjoy your Thanksgiving feast, whatever it is that you're eating. We'll be doing Chinese food this year.
Yep. Or fried rice and
maybe
delicious.
some pho.
What do you mean? Ooh, pho. Okay.
I'm not sure, but that's what we'll be doing in our household, and we will have pumpkin pie.
We're not going to harm a single turkey this year.
No.
I think there's enough of that. I mean, one thing that we learned for this year.
We're not harming them. We're cooking something that's already been harmed,
we're part of the
slaughtered and frozen.
When we do the Dipshit files.
Yeah, I know.
If we were to give ourselves the danger meter for turkeys. We're in the quadrillions of turkeys that we've killed. I think we're in Yoda bites. I think about the amount of things that we needed to calculate how many turkeys we've killed.
Right.
Brutality. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Just chopping heads off, and leaving them in shitty conditions. Depravity.
Lighting them on fire.
What we're doing after they die is like
shoving things up their ass.
Yeah. When we do that, when all these things happen to a person, which I know there's a difference, but just again, another an alien going just buzzing by the Earth. Like, how are these Earthlings? Oh, there's a lot of different Earthlings.
Whoa.
Wow, there's one particular kind of Earthling that is really fucking brutal and depraved and cruel and. But meat is meat. Meat's delicious, so I'm not going to act like a hypocrite any more than I have to. It's still. Am I wrong? If you were flying by and you're like, I know nothing of this planet. These look like some humanoid type creature. They're one of the monkey species. It seems an ape-like creature. What the fuck are they doing to that pig? Why did they do that to the turkey? Ooh, the turkey must be the most hated species on this planet. They wow. I mean, I don't know. If the turkeys ever become sentient and they're angry with us, they'll be like, look.
Could you imagine revenge of the turkeys?
Yeah. I think there's a South Park about that.
Is there?
At some point, yeah. Where they're like, fuck you.
Probably.
Fuck you. And I'm sure there's a Simpsons and the turkeys. I don't think we do anything. There's probably a few animals that are designated like this, like the cow, where it's like, all right, it's not enough to make the meat out of it, but we want to take its baby lactations, smear that on there, and then a side of cold baby lactations of that animal, and just look at it.
Right.
And then, maybe throw some pig on there for the fucking, and a pickle. There's my delicious cow monstrosity with pickle. And the potato things that I guess are hard to make a profit off of if you're Taco Bell.
Right.
All right. I don't know. Be nicer to turkeys and get Chinese food and fuck chickens and pork and all the other animals that are eaten. And to be honest, people should know this too. If you're a vegetarian, like there's a lot of murder that's involved in farming veggies. If you think of what is it, a thresher? It's out there threshing animals and bugs and shit. Like a lot of calories killed that are part of the vegetables. It's a world of that. So I'm trying. I'm Mr. Bleeding Heart. Like save the turkeys. But at the same time, it's like there's no way to eat without being a cunt.
There is absolutely no way to survive on this planet without killing. Yeah. That is just...
Or eating the things that were killed for you.
Right.
I mean, Christ, if you're just sucking on an ice cube, the energy that's used to make that water freeze comes from old trees, vegetables, and dinosaurs.
Part of being human, part of being just living, you have to kill things in order to eat.
I know, but could we be nicer to turkeys? Do we have to shove things up the turkey's ass?
Well, that's... Yeah, I was going to go off on a tangent, and I'm not going to.
Why not? It's Tangent Holiday Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. Enjoy your football day. This is, Eve. This is Football Day Eve. However you celebrate it or don't celebrate it, if you fucking see this day as all the things that are whatever, whether politicized or unpoliticized or moral or unmoral, immoral, more power to you. But at least we come together as a nation and
to celebrate all at the same time.
Yeah, America slows the fuck down. Yeah. And this year, big companies that normally are open this time of year, for whatever reason, I think it's to give their employees a break, all of them, so they don't have to stress. Even though a lot of those employees are probably like, "Fuck, I need that money. It was time and a half." But there's never solutions to problems. There's only these trade-offs and stuff. But the trade-off right now is that they're closed, and you can't. If you need some fucking syrup or some cranberry crap or some marshmallows to put on your yams or pretzels to crumble on some pig face, I don't know. Whatever. They won't be open for you, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't care. Basically stock up the fucking today. Because they ain't going to be there for you tomorrow. Yeah. They said, fuck you. Our employees are sick of working for us.
Yeah, but everyone is going to the grocery store today.
Everyone's sick of everyone's faces. All right. I think this is enough. The dipshit meter this week, we're dipshits to turkeys at a 5.
Humans.
We're 5s on the dipshits.
All humans are dipshits for this episode because of the things that we do to turkeys. Bowling, frozen turkey bowling, launching them on fire through the air, shoving things up their asses. Cutting off their necks and shoving it up their own ass.
You know what?
In a bag.
It's there's too much to be said on that.
Right.
It's a little bit far.
Right.
Load the turkey. Fire the turkey. Fire the turkey. All right. And the turkey's name is Brad. I don't know. Thank you for listening. We appreciate all of you guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays. Thank you to our trusted turd triad.
Yes.
Donald and Chris and Bodie. 3 guys that are out there putting the effort in to smear that scat. And they're kind of the heads of a whole huge team of folk that are smearing the scat. And we appreciate all of you. Huge thing. Thank you to the Godhead, one of the best things on the internet as far as I'm concerned, for adopting SKATCAST as part of their mission. And then also thank you to the Garbage Disposal for always posting positive, crazy, cool, fucking awesome things, plus food. And I don't know. It's just a wonderful place over there as well. So the world of SKATCAST Universe. The world of SKATCAST Universe. That makes 0% sense.
This is
the worst part of the show for me. Where I'm like, I don't know how to fucking promote
how to
myself.
put stuff on. Yeah.
I don't care. Patreon, skatcast.com, info@skatcast. You know all the things. Cheers to all of our bosses in the litter box. It keeps growing and growing in there, and appreciate you guys a ton. That's patreon.com/skatcast, blah, blah, blah. You guys know that. I'm thankful to be doing this. We're almost at a year.
Yeah.
And it's been a blast. I get to do 2 podcasts with my wife.
Yeah.
I get to do a podcast at the end of the week with 2 of my best buds. And I get to just hang out with the voices in my head, and you guys throw me money.
Yes.
I'm not in hell. It's not hell. I mean, this planet is a weird ass place that if you look too closely anywhere, it's like, oh wow, that's hell.
Right.
But I'm currently only looking in a few places, and it's meant to entertain my fellow man. I hope that's working for you. But thank you, wife, for being here.
Thank you.
Always a joy. And as always, we'll talk at you in the future.
And it'll seem like the present.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dipshit Files.
Bing. Bong. Poop out of face. Poop face.